Welcome to the detailed deep dive into the 2021 ZenBook Duo 14-inch. We talked about all the key specs and features and cool stuff you can do thanks to the new ScreenPad Plus. In this video, I'll talk mostly about the how and the why and the technical details. So if you haven't watched our quick overview, I suggest you watch that one first. Alright, let's talk about the why. Why did we add a second display to our ZenBooks to begin with? Well, displays are probably the most important part in our laptops and other portable devices. And although we want big displays, we also want the device to be as compact and lightweight as possible so we can move around freely. Bigger display, smaller chassis equals slim bezels and high screen-to-body ratios. Modern devices have achieved impressive screen-to-body ratios of over 90%, but we always want more. And actually, if you think about it, even 100% screen-to-body ratio is not enough. Essentially, what we want is a compact device that somehow magically transforms into a giant display, or project the display onto a wall or a hologram. This all sounds very science fiction-like, but the reason it exists in science fiction is because a lot of us are intrigued by this idea and would like something like this for real. There are folding devices, but if you want a device today with top-of-the-line performance and specs that has a solid build that will last for many years with as much screen space as possible, our ZenBook Duo series is the closest thing to this dream of a compact device that magically transforms into a large display. In the 2021 ZenBook Duo 14-inch, we tilt up the display to reduce the gap between both displays as much as possible. We call this AAS Plus, our active aerodynamic system, where we open up the chassis and tilt up the ScreenPad Plus for better viewing angles and improved airflow. At the same time, we implement ErgoLift, which lifts up the entire laptop body from the desk to improve airflow and typing and viewing angles even more. This is actually not easy to do at all. The hinge mechanism to do both of this at the same time is pretty complex, and we originally had to increase the laptop dimensions and weight. But we knew from surveys that a lot of our customers would really appreciate a slimmer and lighter chassis, especially for the ZenBook Duo 14-inch. So we went back to the drawing board and created a completely new hinge mechanism for the ZenBook Duo 2021 series, which is smaller and lighter than other designs. This redesigned hinge not only allowed us to tilt the ScreenPad Plus up, lift up the chassis via ErgoLift, but even made the 2021 models slimmer and lighter than the current 2020 models. But even with those impressively compact and lightweight hinges, we had to rearrange the internal components to make space for them. Our engineers went ahead and played some 3D Tetris and figured out that by moving some components to a daughter board and switching to an advanced 10-layer PCB, we could reduce the total PCB space. We lift up the ScreenPad Plus to improve the viewing angle and make it look brighter, but we also boosted the panel brightness itself to 400 nits, a notable increase compared to the 2020 model. So the main and secondary display now have the same brightness of 400 nits. The 100% sRGB Full HD main display is now available in a 1 watt panel option as well. The same we offer on our other ZenBooks. It's also TÜV Rheinland certified for low harmful blue light emissions. So besides the usual performance and battery life improvements that come with the latest CPUs and overall components and parts, the ZenBook Duo 14 2021 gets an extra battery life boost thanks to its 1 watt panel. It's able to run through our video playback test for around 16 hours with the ScreenPad Plus turned off, and even with the ScreenPad Plus turned on the whole time, still manages an impressive 12 hours. Thanks to our dedicated keyboard button to turn the ScreenPad Plus on and off, you can quickly disable it to boost your battery life whenever you don't need it. So you just turn it on and off with the button right there. Like I mentioned, we spend a whole lot more time in front of our laptops these days. And blue light is well known to cause tired, red, and itchy eyes. It disrupts our sleep cycle and prevents us from having a restful, deep sleep, and also to recover from exercise. For children studying from home, the impact is actually more severe, as the lenses in our eyes are much more transparent to blue light at a young age. This essentially means kids get up to double the dose of harmful blue light compared to what we experience. We now have a blue light filter app built into the My Asus app on all our laptops, which uses some clever tricks to reduce just as much blue light as a conventional blue light filtering app, but with much less of a color shift towards the yellow-orange tint you usually get. The 2021 ZenBook Duo 14-inch comes with the latest Intel 11th Gen U-series processors with Iris Xe and an MX450 dedicated GPU option, which more than doubles its 3D performance compared to the MX250 in the current model. Memory-wise, we made a huge leap here, going from 16GB 2133 MHz DDR3 memory to 32GB LPDDR4X memory running at 4266 MHz. So that's double the size, double the clock speed, going from the 2020 to the 2021 version. We also improved the keyboard layout and have a full-length right-shift key now, right here. The ZenBook Duo 14-inch 11th Gen Intel CPU supports AIPT, which means we can boost it from the default 15 watts all the way to 28 watts. Not just occasionally, but it can run 28 watts non-stop. And for short-term loads, it can actually boost the TDP even higher than 28 watts. This gives you a CPU performance boost of 40% or even more, depending on the application you're using. Pretty impressive for such a slim and light ultra-portable. When switching to performance mode, you not only get that extra 28-watt CPU performance, on the MX450 version we boosted GPU as well, which gives you a 20% GPU performance uplift on top. So to unlock that extra performance, all you need to do is switch your AIPT laptop to performance mode. Why isn't it always running in performance mode? Well, more performance means more power and your fans are going to spin faster. While 40 decibels isn't bad at all, some people want their laptop to be whisper quiet, which is why we made this performance boost optional. In performance mode, your CPU will now be able to run at 28 watt nonstop all day and can boost even higher than 28 watt for short periods of time. In the default balanced mode, on many models, we actually already boost the CPU performance compared to the reference 11th Gen spec, while at the same time keeping surface temperatures nice and comfortable and fan noise below 35 decibels. And for anyone who appreciates a quiet room without any ambient sounds at all, our whisper mode limits the noise generated by the laptop to just 28 decibels. That's quieter than a breeze. This makes it ideal for working in quiet environments or binge watching your favorite shows. And since it limits CPU performance to achieve these impressively low fan speed, it boosts the battery life too. You can switch between these three operating modes by pressing the FN and F keys and then toggle between the different modes. Or you can launch the My Asus app by either pressing the F12 button or through the Start menu in Windows. Under Hardware Settings, you'll then see AIPT and the option to switch to any of the three modes you want to use. The most impressive mode is definitely the performance mode. In this mode, the laptop pushes the power of your 11th Gen Intel CPU to its full 28 watts of power. This boosts performance by as much as 40% or even more compared to the same CPU running at only 15 watts, the default setting. The performance mode is great for running heavy computing loads like video editing or playing games as well. And yes, since the Intel Iris Xe graphics shares its power budget with the CPU, giving the CPU extra power means the Iris Xe graphics are able to run at a higher performance level as well. The surprising thing about AIPT is that it barely consumes more power compared to the default balanced mode. This depends on how exactly you use your laptop, but essentially, since the laptop performs better, it finishes its task faster and can switch to a lower power idle setting faster. AIPT is not just a simple TDP setting change. Besides the more beefy VRM components we need to power the CPU as well, cooling is very important. One of the key components that allows us to boost the CPU performance this much are our ice blade fans. And this is also what allows us to make the whisper mode so quiet. In the 2021 model, we now use a huge single heat pipe, which can carry more heat and move it faster, and has the added benefit of touching the entire CPU without any air gaps you usually get when using multiple smaller heat pipes to cool a single chip. The ice blade fans are made of a high-performance material called LCP, or liquid crystal polymer, which allows us to create fan blades that are thinner than ever at just 0.2 millimeters. The thinner the fan blades, the more blades we can fit on the fan, and the more blades on the fan, the more air they can push with each rotation. So you either get more airflow at the same speed and about the same noise, or you can reduce the fan speed and reduce fan noise and still get about the same airflow. These fan blades also feature a 3D curved design for more efficient airflow and improved acoustics. And powering the fans are three-phase motors that are mounted on a long-lasting and silent fluid dynamics bearing that further reduces vibrations and noise and extends the lifespan. Overall, the ice blade fans produce 30% more airflow compared to regular fans of the same size, the same diameter. It's really thanks to the new ice blade fans that we're able to run the CPU at 28 watts sustained and enable our 28 decibels whisper mode. Even with all this power and performance, the ZenBook Duo 14 has been Intel Evo certified to provide the best laptop experience. In essence, Intel Evo is a new standard for laptops that will guarantee very high performance levels based on the latest technologies. 9 or more hours of battery life, the ability to get at least 4 hours of battery life with a 30-minute charge, and the ability to wake up from sleep within a single second. In every Evo performance requirement, the 2021 ZenBook Duo 14 exceeds the standard set by Intel for certification and still provides users with the benefit of the second display. So to sum it up, the 2021 ZenBook Duo models come with a much improved ScreenPad Plus. You can now make even more of the extra screen space, use it for even more tasks, and get more done in less time. It tilts up for a better viewing angle, is brighter, comes with a long list of software and usability upgrades, uses the latest and greatest CPUs and GPUs. As you can tell, there is a long list of improvements to almost every part of the 2021 ZenBook Duo 14. And we are proud to announce that we've been awarded CES 2021 Innovation Awards for both the ZenBook Duo 14 and its larger brother, the ZenBook Pro Duo 15 OLED. Thank you for watching, and if this deep dive video has left any of your questions unanswered and you want to know even more, do let us know.